Hello, I'm Jason and welcome to Diecast Restos. I have in my hands Lesney's 1958 to 1964 casting of a Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. All were originally painted a variety of shades of blue, from a light silver blue to a darker metallic blue. This one has been repainted over in silver. It's missing its rear bumper, which was painted silver. Not only that, nearly a quarter of the base is AWOL, and is held together with what looks like cement. This is clearly beyond conventional repair. So I've another Silver Cloud to play with bodywork that has been crushed and is ripe for the scrap heap. This one's base is fitted with grey plastic wheels, where my original has metal. Silver plastic wheels were attached to castings later in the production run. Anyway, I'll combine the two and attempt to roughly match this paint shade, which is fairly close to a coat seen on the real thing. The Silver Cloud was produced from 1955 until 1966, with this casting replicating the first generation. This ran up until 1958. Inside of my casting, I quickly realised this is not cement but hardened blue tack. It takes a spot of elbow grease to lever out the remains. Eventually it shifts and I can focus on the other end. The Silver Cloud 1 replaced the Silver Dawn, the first Rolls-Royce to be offered with a factory-built body. The new car came with a 4.9 litre 155 horsepower engine that carried the 1.95 tonne mass. Its transmission was General Motors 4-speed Hydromatic automatic. The Silver Cloud's body measured 5.38 metres or 212 inches in length and was 1.9 metres or 75 inches wide, resulting in a 12.7 metre or 41 foot turning circle. Here I hammer the bent base flat, ready for its new body. 1 year after the car's launch, air conditioning and power steering became options. In 1957, a long wheelbase model became available, increasing length by 4 inches or 102 millimetres. Now all was looking good, especially with that paint scum floating away. That was until I saw the casting again. You can see that there's some pretty severe pitting going on, which had been concealed by the silver overpaint. This I think is worse than the pitting I experienced on the Sekou Mercedes SL a while back. Compared to the almost paintless crushed casting, it looks really unhealthy. It does seem to have mostly affected the right side and the top side. At this point, I decided to carry on with the other bits and pieces involved in restoring it. Then I'd give it a coat of Tamiya's thick primer to fill some gaps and highlight the extent of my problems. The Silver Cloud was offered as standard as a 4-door saloon, but coach builders offered a 2-door coupe or convertible option. Harold Radford Coach Builders offered a conversion of the saloon to a 4-door estate car. Here I'm laying on the Tamiya grey primer to see if this body can be salvaged. It's still looking pretty ropey, not good I'm afraid. The dried primer on the base is covered over with TS14 black now. Once the primed body is set, we can clearly see the extent of the damage. To fill all those divots with model filler and file it all down without losing any cast detail I think is too much to ask of this little casting. So I'm going to put that on the back burner and instead turn my attention to this damaged body. I'll bend the roof and straighten the A-pillar to try to make the most of a bad situation. In 1959, the Silver Cloud was updated to the Silver Cloud 2. Little changed externally, but Rolls-Royce had developed a 6.2 litre V8 to power it. As a result, weight increased to 2.1 tonnes. In 1963, the third and final Silver Cloud of this iteration launched. Visually, the car had its round headlamps clustered in groups of 2 either side of the grille. The grille was also lowered slightly, owing to an increased bonnet slope. I've now removed the paint from the roof damaged casting, and I'll shortly glue the A-pillar where the split in the bodywork occurred. I'll then apply some model filler and smooth it off. Rolls-Royce produced 7,372 Silver Clouds, while the identical Barrett's grille Bentley equivalents, the S1, S2 and S3, saw 7,475 vehicles produced over the same time span. The Silver Cloud was replaced by the unitary-bodied and much more modern in general Silver Shadow in 1965. Matchbox also released a casting of the Silver Shadow in 1967, which I restored in my 100th video, and I'll leave a link here. Now that my second Silver Cloud casting has had its roof issues resolved, I can primer it. That is much better, and the join is barely visible, if at all. As for the colour, well, I've gone for the tried and tested Tamiya PS49 Sky Blue Anodised Aluminum. It's a fair bit darker looking indoors under the studio lights. For the detailing, early examples with grey metal wheels could be found with trim to the front and rear bumpers, radiator, headlights and the side lights. The side lights were then dropped around the same time grey plastic wheels made an appearance. I keep mine true to form and withhold this too. Some later versions had trim applied only to the centre of the radiator grille and not the entire thing. All versions had red trim applied to the tail lights. The Lesney casting was replaced by the Rolls-Royce Phantom 5 in 1964. Again, this is one I've restored, a term that I use loosely, a while back. Well, there's not much to putting this casting back together. Despite there being 2 rivet posts, the front of the base also slots in beneath the radiator grille. So here is how a Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud looked originally. This build certainly didn't go according to plan, so much so that I didn't record any before footage of my backup casting for spares. This was in a right state though, missing a chunk of its base and bumper, and having been badly repainted, and then the pitting really topped it all off. A bit of a nightmare really. So I did what I could with it, and here's how it now looks. Yeah, not that one. Yes, that's better. The damaged roof on this casting has been repaired and reunited with its base that was destined for the other model. I think that this paint shade is a really great match to something you would have seen straight from the Lesney factory. The detailing has all come out looking very nice indeed. The subtle taillights improve the back end, and it's nice to see the bumper flattened where it belongs. You'll have to let me know in the comments what I should do with my pitted disaster of the other casting. I was thinking of turning it into a regal banger racer and painting it brown. Whatever the consensus, I'm just glad at least one of these castings turned out okay. Please leave me a like and hit the subscribe button for more. Links to Patreon to support the channel are in the description. Every little helps. But that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.